Do you ever feel like studying becomes boring? You immediately stop studying and get absorbed in your phone. You say to yourself, "Should I continue studying?" Don't worry, you are not alone. Up to 90% of students are studying the wrong way. Many students spend hours watching videos and surfing social media, then spend hours cramming knowledge into their heads, only to forget it all later. Such passive learning makes it impossible for students to absorb knowledge. Don't worry. Today, you and I will explore a new learning method together. Let's make learning a fun and effective experience. Have you ever tried to learn a subject and never got good at it? Or you got stuck in tutorials and still didn't make progress? You felt confused and didn't know which way to go? That's because you're learning the wrong way. This way of learning will gradually make you tired because of investing your time wrongly and trying to get results. If you just watch and read information, what it saves in your brain is only short-term storage. And I'm sure that when you don't reuse that information, your brain will have a mechanism to automatically eliminate the information to make room for new data. Science has proven a concept like this. When learning becomes too easy, our brain almost stops working. On the contrary, when learning becomes more difficult, the brain will work harder. It will find a way to solve the problem and process the information, no matter what mistakes or difficulties you encounter. In fact, the brain will only really develop when we encounter challenges, make mistakes, and find ways to correct them. Over-expectation, a very simple and effective trick to trick your brain. Instead of having to finish studying in 3 hours, try setting yourself a goal of studying for only 20 minutes. Sounds easy, right? But that is the secret to help you overcome procrastination. When you set yourself a short time to study, the brain will not feel reassured. And of course, 20 minutes sounds really easy. You will want to continue studying as soon as you start. Write down what you need to learn during that time. Our brains always prioritize what is clear and specific. And I recommend you try it in your next study session. I believe you will be surprised by the results it brings. The key point here is, learning is not just about time, it is also about how you approach it. Next, let's explore the 80-20 rule. Not all topics are important. 20% of what you learn will bring 80% of the results. You will save a lot of time if you focus on what is important. Start by checking old exam papers. Ask your teacher about the topics and make notes of the most important ones and focus on them. Prioritize what you need to focus on to get the highest score. Make a precise list of the topics you need to review. If you are studying chemistry, identify the important parts, master the basics, memorize the periodic table, practice solving exercises and practical experiments. You also need to use diagrams and images, study in groups, or create class cuts. If you complete the above steps well, I am sure that you will master the knowledge effectively. Next is Feynman method. Learn like a teacher. You finish studying and think you have understood the lesson until someone else asks and wants to hear you explain the problem more clearly. At this time, you are hesitant and cannot answer. The principle of the Feynman method emphasizes that if you can't explain something simply, it means you don't really understand it. So the principle to remember here is, if you want to learn quickly and remember longer, what you need to do is turn complex things into the easiest to understand possible. Let's give a concrete example. Do you want to understand the concept of compound interest more deeply? Do the following. First, imagine that you are explaining the concept of compound interest to your children. How do you think you will explain it so that the children will understand? If you can do that, it means that you have mastered the knowledge. And of course, in reality, if you explain it to them in financial jargon, they will probably not understand what you are saying. Tell them this. Compound interest is like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but as it rolls downhill, it gets bigger. Next is the Pomodoro method. The first thing you need to do when applying this method is to choose a task to do. Then you set a timer for 30 minutes. This will be called a Pomodoro. Next, you need to focus 100% on your work without being distracted by the surrounding environment. After 30 minutes, the bell rings. You will take a 5-minute break and then continue working. Repeat this. After 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. Sounds simple, right? But the great thing is that it will help you concentrate without getting exhausted. We are all not superhumans. Pomodoro will help us optimize our working energy.